That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live on A2DRadio.com. And today we are going to be talking about the Flyers and the Penguins post-game. Big victory for the Flyers in the comeback. I am Matt Tsutsuti, along with the Darkwing Brian Daly.
What up? No matter where you're watching us live now, hit that like, subscribe button.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got the broken one, Rob Povia.
Hope we find everyone feeling well this evening.
Absolutely. And we have the man who is in charge of our show sponsor, Bodychek Wellness, who uses several products with the miracle of hemp. They actually have so many different products, topicals. They also have gummies, blends, extracts, everything you need. And you get 40% off of a special box they have going on as well, because we have the one and only Mr. Riley Cote on with us once again. How you doing tonight, Riley?
Not too bad. What's up, guys?
Always feeling good after a big win. Always feeling good. Oh, man. So, guys, let's talk about it. You know, I mean, we had a big fall apart in the first period. You know, I mean, first 4 minutes, you know, one after the other going down and 3 straight unanswered goals. Timeout called by AV, timely, and then the Flyers eventually, they pull themselves back. They get a goal in the first, they got a goal in the second, they get 2 in the third to eventually win. Claude Giroux has 3 of the 4 goals. Cote has the other one. What a way to have a comeback.
Actually, they did give credit to Scotty Lawton off the pants.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgot off the pants. Yep.
And they don't count for the orange. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no, it was nice to watch. I mean, you never want to be down 3 Cobb, but I think if you're going to be down 3 Cobb, you may as well be down first 5 minutes to give you another 55 minutes to get back into it. So it worked out in their favor, no question. But you don't ever want to be down like that. It's not a good feeling.
no.
Oh, I mean, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the first opening couple minutes there, the Penguins were just all over them, and a couple of defensemen caught out of position. I don't know what the hell Sanheim was thinking, trying to grab the puck. I mean, it essentially went in off his hand. I don't get that one, but you know, a little unfortunate bounce there on a rebound early on, which led to Friedman's goal. But they got it together, tightened up, and wound up with the win. So to point that out, that's what matters right now. You can't afford to take teams to overtime right now, playing in a division.
Yeah, they needed those 2 points big time, and like you said, they needed those 2 points with no other extra points handed out. So, you know, I was a little worried. You know, I see that Friedman. You know, these trades seem to teams. You know, like just because the guy plays, you know, he's playing above and beyond what you probably normally can play, just because he wants to shove it up the Flyers' ass and the whole bit. But you know, he's been effective for sure the last 2 games. There's no question. But you know, it was nice to see them find a way, because it would have been a tough third game if they had lost this game. You know, just demoralizing, really.
So many 4-pointers going back and forth, especially if you take it in regulation, playing the Penguins, the team you're vying with for that 4th and final place in the division. You know, the point swing is tremendous. And to Friedman, you know, of course he's going to play hard against the team he's played for. But what stood out to me is just the disdain of players that have played with Friedman up the pipeline, really giving him the business in this game. Makes me question that he just wasn't a favorable guy in that locker room.
You know, it's funny you say that. I coached him briefly, and he's you know what? He's got he's got something about him that I think he rubs guys the wrong way. I think a lot of the times it's not if it's the way he says things, a little bit of his, you know, he's got a chip on his shoulder. but it's certainly noticeable. He plays a hard game. You got to give him some credit, but it was a little feistier than I thought it would be. That quickly too. But you got to give the guy some credit. I mean, he does play the game the right way. He does draw penalties, and he gets under people's skin. So whether it's an off ice issue or if it's just him doing a good job on the ice, I'd like this. I got to give him credit. He was active his last 2 games for sure.
Yeah. What was really funny though, it's not funny because he did get hurt, but what was really weird about it was that he runs into Patrick at the end there, and it almost looks like he puts his head straight into Patrick's shoulder, and then Patrick just dumps him to the ice because clearly he didn't get enough body on the check to really, take Patrick down. He falls to the ice, and it almost looks like he hits the back of his head on the ice. And it's just, that was,
Is that the one that he went into the corner there and he left the ice for a bit? Is that the one?
No, it was shortly thereafter that. Fortunately, he didn't hit his head on the ice. He got some massive whiplash, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick did take him into the boards there, got called with the boarding penalty. So, of course, Friedman's going to come back, run at him, again. And Patrick just getting the hands up, protecting himself. And unfortunately, he took that to the noggin on the shoulder. And then I think what it was, Matty, was the whiplash. Like, I didn't see the head hit the ice, but just the head rocking back like that. He got up like like Kapanen's dad did back in the day, very wobbly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got them jello legs.
Yeah, I didn't see the hit. I was in the middle watching the game and putting my 2 daughters to bed, so I must have missed that one there. But I saw the one before that, and he's like a perfect example of a guy that he could have just went up against the boards and absorbed the hit a little bit more cleanly. He tries to sell it and tries to draw a penalty and whips his head back. Whether he hurt his knee or not, he sold it as if he did, but obviously came back within a couple minutes. But those are the ones that you could just be a little bit more, just more of a character player and just absorb the hit instead of like selling it like that. Just like it's so obvious when you guys do that. It just doesn't reflect well in my opinion.
No, I got you. And, actually, back in the day, when you were playing, the way that Friedman was kind of, talking on the Flyers and everything like that, chirping a little bit back on the team, how would you guys have, handled that? Because you're getting ready to play them, and then all of a sudden, one of your former teammates is, kind of trashing the team. How would you have handled that, going into the game?
Well, I think it's one of those, you play hard between the whistles. Chirping is one thing, and some guys are really good at chirping and get underneath your skin. But I mean, for me, it was always about answering the bell. So obviously he's not going to necessarily fight, but I mean, getting pucks in his corner, and like you've seen the last couple of games, guys getting body on him. Just get body on him, just wear him down. Eventually he's gonna get hit. He's gonna chirp. He's gonna get frustrated, but the only thing you can do is play hard on him every play. Like chirping him is not going to really. He loves that. Because some guys just thrive off that. So, chirping some guys like that is not gonna. You're not gonna get through to him. So you got to bang on him and you hit him, drive the net, and just get greasy around the net and just keep hammering him. So I mean, to me, I thought they did a good job at that. You know what I mean? They were hard on him with some big hits and vice versa. I mean, he was involved in the play. He did his job effectively. But the only way you can shut a guy up like that is to keep getting pucks in the corner and making a hard night on him. So
yeah, and I thought that was something they did really well, especially in the second and third period. Was starting to throw the body around, putting pucks on net, and having guys crash net at the same time. That's how they scored a lot of their goals.
Yep.
And cutting out the damn puck watching. That's what really burned them on those first 3 goals. And you saw that really come to an end quickly after that timeout. There was a brief period there, I think it was early in the third, where they were getting scrambly watching the puck again. But they quickly took that lesson. I even saw Gostisbehere taking the body, getting the stick up in front of the net. And that's what you got to do. You can't have these guys open behind you on defense, as we saw with both Provorov and Gostisbehere on the same play in the first game this week against the Pens.
Absolutely. And by the way, for everybody that were showing on the comments down there, tonight there is a really big opportunity for everybody here, and it is a chance to actually win a Bodychek Wellness jersey, and that is coming from Mr. Riley Cote, and we will basically be entering in, and that jersey looks absolutely fabulous, and we'll be entering your comments in, and we will be picking a winner. So if you're commenting in on the show tonight, you have a chance to win the Bodychek Wellness jersey that you just saw on the screen. And hey, it's exciting, isn't it? It's got to be cool.
I like the patches on the shoulder there. I wish I could be in on this, but I can't.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hold on. Time out. We're not in on this?
I'll just pick one up my old-fashioned way.
It's a little favoritism, don't you think? Just a little bit of nepotism there if one of us walked away with the jersey.
Right. Well, Riley, speaking of Bodychek Wellness, what products am I buying this month? What's new? What's fresh? What's the current deals, man?
Well, we recently launched a THC-free broad spectrum line in the last month, which I would say is our newest products, and that's just for anybody that's worried about a drug test or anybody that's just not sure that they want to be ingesting THC, which again, it is hemp, so it's grown below 0.3% THC, nothing to worry about. But there's still a little stigma around that. So a THC-free broad spectrum, and then we have essentially a wellness box. It's all THC-free products between the broad spectrum, the gummy bears, a roll-on, and we have one more product in there. I'm drawing a blank of what it is, but yeah, nonetheless, yeah, just more options for different people. There's now a cannabis-based product for everybody, whether you're an avid THC consumer on more the adult use or medical side, and now in the industrial hemp side of things, you have full spectrum products that contain, again, below 0.3% THC, and then now THC-free products. So something for everybody out there, but highly anti-inflammatory, help with just managing stress, anxieties, promoting a good night's sleep, and that's the recovery process. So just trying to hammer that home and help people live a higher quality of life, really, at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I hope it has the focus and clarity, man, because I picked that up. It's helped me out tremendously, keeping my focus. And like we talked about last month, Riley, I've been focusing on inculcating that with my diet, with my exercise, being part of the whole round picture. And the demeanor's been up, the mood's been up, the focus has been laser sharp. So definitely I could speak volumes for these products, guys.
That's great. Happy to hear.
Thanks.
Yeah. So obviously they're tools, right? They need to be integrated with other important tools, and I think the more you understand that, the better they work. So especially when we talk about mushrooms, and they're adaptogens, so they work along stress responses. So if you're not doing anything else to kind of try and reel in the stress, they'll still work, but they don't work as well. But if you're kind of reeling in some stress over here and managing some stress over there, and maybe you're cleaning up your diet, which is removing some sort of digestive stress, then all of a sudden these adaptogens work a lot better. So again, you're able to focus a little bit better, be more clear, be more present. So happy to hear you're getting some results there.
Absolutely, guys. And by the way, when Riley is on with us, you can save 40% off with Bodychek Wellness. We also have the regular promo code of A2D, so you can use that at any time to get 20% off the products. And yeah, absolutely, everything that Rob's utilizing, it's definitely helping him, and it'll definitely help you guys. And Riley talked about it a few weeks back when we had him on the first time. He was talking about it just now. These products, they're very helpful for everything. Not just for not only just for you being in shape or everything, just mentally also getting you in the right state of mind and getting focused on the right things. All right, so with all of that, guys, I have to ask, what did you think about the performances tonight from particularly the defense? We talked about and we talked about this ad nauseum last week, because we had the issues where a lot of fans on social media specifically were trying to run Carter Hart out of town. which unfortunately in Philadelphia, this is what happens. You know, obviously Philly still has that wound very fresh from Carson Wentz exit. So now all of a sudden we've got Carter Hart who's on the firing line because of possible underperformances, which I don't really necessarily blame completely on him. You know, you win as a team, you lose as a team. If the team's performing bad, the goalie's going to only be able to do so much. And yes, sometimes a goalie can let in a softie every once in a while. They're human after all. You know, it's just, what did you guys see from the defense tonight that you haven't been seeing from them in the past that really has just that reeled this game in after those 3 goals that were just awful to give up earlier?
I'll speak to that. I mean, touched upon it before. You know, they were guilty of the puck watching, allowing the forwards to get behind them, crash the net, take it from behind the net, which Crosby, you know, he's made a living off that. But they got that, you know, they shored that up in game, and you like to see those in game adjustments. Something that, you know, there's no question in this team's fortitude. You know, no lead is safe against them. Maybe no lead is safe with them, but for that matter. But in this case, they were resilient. They came back, and it fed off a stronger, more calmer defense. What's up, Jesse? And to Carter's, to the point you're talking about Hart. You know, we saw him pitch a shutout after Moose did, you know, when in his first game back. And I saw an interesting tweet from Kyle Felipe. He goes, Flyers assistant Mike Yao mentioned to Jason Martinez that Carter Hart has a knack for responding well after a poor game. Since last year, Hart has had 16 games where he gave up 4+ goals. His stats in the very next appearance, 2.37 goals against, 9.19 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. So for a young netminder to be able to, you know, cast the last game out of your mind, move on fresh, you know, that was good to see. And he even did that in that first game against the Penguins. I don't think you could fault Carter for any of those goals in the earlier loss to the Penguins. And of course, we saw Moose and Knight making some nice saves. So, you know, we'll see when Carter comes back into the lineup, you know, presumably this Saturday against the Penguins, what kind of response he has yet again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Riley. It's all you, bud.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, I think the last 5 games, you know, the Flyers have been putting up significant shots on net. You know, I think before that they were struggling to score, and then they were absorbing a lot more than they should have. And then, like you mentioned there, like Carter had a big game there. You know, they should have beat Buffalo. So, you know, but in saying that, those games are easy to kind of have slip away sometimes because you take them too lightly. But, you know, they got 2 big wins there, and Carter needed a performance like that. You know, that being said, you know, they come back and they get, you know, say spanked, but you know, the Flyers still put up. I'm looking here, like 42 shots, and you know, that's a significant amount of shots, which is nice, a nice trend. They just, you know, they weren't able to get the bounces, and the bounces kind of went the other way. You know, I think what I saw today as far as like adjustments was like early on, Pittsburgh was all over the defensemen, you know, and they weren't able to make, you know, plays, and you know, they were, you know, swatting pucks and, you know what I mean, under pressure plays. But I found that they were able to adjust and adapt a little bit, where they were, you know, say doing the long rims and reliving pressure, so not able to get that second forechecker in there. So some simple adjustments like that. But, you know, going back to Carter Hart, I think he's going to be totally fine. I think he's just going through a few bumps in the road this year, and some of these mistakes and whatnot, these holes in the game are getting magnified, and he's taking kind of the brunt of it. But the games that he was taking a lot of shit for, the team wasn't playing a 200-foot game. You know, they were absorbing way more than they should have. They were playing in their end way more than they should have, and they weren't generating enough offense, which is a pretty good defensive strategy. When you're playing away from your net, you're not absorbing. So. But in saying all that, last 5 or 6 games, like I said, they've been putting up enough shots that they look like a good team for the most part. You know, you can't win games long term when you're only putting up 20 shots a game. So, and then the goalie is going to feel the extra heat. But I still feel that they got a really good 1-2 combo there. And if Carter Hart can, you know, get back to his A+ game, they're going to be in some really good shape. But he's wired for it. I mean, this kid is mature beyond his years, so I'm really not concerned about him. I think it's just, again, we're still early in this short season. And to me, is you may as well get the cobwebs out now if these are the cobwebs, and if the team's still putting up 42 shots and whatnot, that's some good signs. And you knew Pittsburgh was going to come out flying anyways the other day. You know, they have a lot to prove with Hexy, and there's just a lot of backline story to it all. So, I'm personally not too concerned. I think this kid's is gonna battle through this adversity, if you call it that, and they'll be fine down the stretch.
No, for sure. And all I was going to say was one thing that I noticed after that first timeout was the Flyers defense really didn't allow Pittsburgh to get a clean entrance into their zone at all. So they really, like I was saying, they really tightened up. They started really playing some good defense, not allowing any real big chances. I mean, you had going to have some here and there throughout the game, but they put themselves in better position. They didn't let the Penguins forwards beat him out to any puck. They were putting bodies on in the corners and putting guys out in front of the net to keep them from crashing. I thought they tightened up. They did a really good job after that first couple minutes, and ultimately led to a win.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, we saw the much-needed win comment there. This absolutely was. Riley said it earlier, definitely a much-needed win to get 2 points in the standings over Pittsburgh, give them nothing in return, and it's one of those games that you look back on, you say, boy, that could have gone in a really bad direction, but they rallied around. They said, okay, let's circle this around here. Let's play a little tighter on the defensive side of the puck. Let's make it harder for them to get through the neutral zone. Let's make it harder for them to get in and start their forecheck, which you were talking about, Bry, and Riley was talking about. All of us were talking about just making it hard for Pittsburgh to get established. And even though Pittsburgh had some scary moments, Moose came through big time, having some really great saves. I mean, that save against Malkin, that right there was a game saver, because Malkin's all alone right in front of the net. That's a goal 9 times out of 10. A lesser goalie would have let that one in, and he just snags it right out of the air and says, nope, you're not getting it. And Malkin even went back. He's like, damn. Like, man, that should have been in. You got to love it when you see it on Malkin's face, because he likes to show those emotions, and that's always great to see. You won't see Crosby show it as much, but you'll see Malkin show it. And when you see him frustrated, it's like, oh, that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling to see Malkin frustrated.
and to Riley's point, you're getting shots on net. You're limiting the opponents. The differential has been definitely in the Flyers' favor over the past few games. And you're eliminating those second chances, and that's what burns you. You can make that first save. Don't give up the second and third opportunities, because usually you're going to be picking it out of the twine.
Yeah. I was going to say, too, it was nice to see G kind of be the hero in the game where, going into this game, he only had, I think, one goal. But, obviously he puts up a bunch of assists. But, just kind of like that G versus Crosby type of, mentality. It's just like I think he just needed that game, just not that he wasn't producing, but just to kind of put a stamp on it and be the leader that he is. And that was, again, that game was huge for them. They needed to kind of get out of that rut, and going into Saturday playing them again, they didn't want to go in 0-2. So it was a big game from G, and I like Kubel, back in the lineup, and I'm not sure how that's going to look. I guess Farabee's probably got a couple more games, anyways. I like the way Q plays, man. He plays the game hard, and that last goal is a classic example of the way he kind of plays his game. But again, G, just I think that was big for the team and himself, personally.
Yeah, it was a pretty pass by Knack.
Oh, fabulous pass by Knack. And with a lot of bruising teams in this division, you need that strength on the forecheck. You need that physical presence inspiring. And the hit department looked really good tonight, matching the Penguins hit for hit. It feeds me into this question for you, Riley. Like, as a player, you were a player for the Flyers, for current Flyers players. What makes the Flyers-Pens rivalry so special?
Yeah, I think it's just because you play them so often, and they're just like that team that it's an interstate rivalry and the whole bit. And I remember like even with the Phantoms, it was like it was the Wilkes-Barre Penguins and it was the Hershey Bears. It was like those two teams that you just played all the time, and you knew when you played them it was going to be beef, and there was going to be that extra blood flowing. And it's the same thing with these guys. It's just that they're just tired of playing each other, already. Just from building off other years. It's just what you're going to expect. There are no easy games, and they have something to prove. It's just those games you just got to get up. You have to get up for. You kind of circle them on the calendar, and when they're coming. They just seem extra special. They almost seem like playoff games every time. So the energy is increased, and guys have. There's a little more juice behind them, but again, with a shortened season and you're playing them, I don't know how many, was it 10 times, whatever it lands up being. They know they got to set the tone for these next games, because the next game is going to be just as intense, and they're already mentally preparing for it. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. You know what to expect. You know who the superstars are. You know who grinds. You know how it goes, and just got to prepare for it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, have a comment here that maybe Cote might remember, maybe Riley remembers, and it is from Dominic Flacco saying, Cote, you might not remember, but you met my dad, who was a manager at Lowe's in Jersey, Dom Flacco. You?
Jeez. The name is sounding familiar. I'm just not overly familiar with the experience. That was probably 10 plus years ago, I'm sure. A lot of those years were a big blur for me. So I can't remember, but tell Dom I said what's up.
So we're getting a little bit close to the end of the time here with Riley. So I'll get my last question in, and then Brian, you can get yours in. Rob, you can get yours in. So mine would be, Riley, I know this is another one of the memory jogging ones. So do you remember what it was like, getting suited up for the Flyers, getting ready to face the Penguins the first time? Just getting ready to know that you're going to face Crosby, you're going to face, a really tough team that's going to, fight you hard.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't so much worrying about Crosby. It was worrying about George Laraque, but I can certainly remember in my mindset going up against the Penguins the first time, and it was, oh, shit, here we go, fighting George Laraque here tonight. So I had to obviously piggyback off the momentum of the rivalry itself, but, I was, a little bit different mindset there. And so I had to, earn my street credit and fight there. Obviously they're super heavyweight at the time. And I did. It was special. Cause again, it's like, you just kind of piggyback off the momentum of the minor league rivalries, and, you just know how it goes. And I knew I had to set the tone, and I knew I had to do what I had to do. So it was just like, nature of the beast, but it was awesome to be a part of that rivalry and that energy.
Nice. George Laraque, man. Tough, man.
Yeah. He's not a small guy, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I heard he's one of the nicest guys, though.
Super nice guy, yeah. Yeah, I met him a couple times, and we talked about her. I actually let him fight him 3 times, twice with against the Penguins and once with Montreal. But yeah, he's a super, super respectful guy. I remember the one time in Pittsburgh, the second time I fought him, which was like my best fight against him. And I was mentally preparing for days, right? I was like, this in my mind, it was like, this was happening. The first shift that I had against him, the whole bit. And I mentally prepared, didn't touch a puck in warm up. And first shift, it was in Pittsburgh. I lined up with him, and I was like ready to ask him to fight. And then before I could even ask him, he's like, hey, Rouse. He's like, if you don't want to fight tonight, we don't have to. I was like, no, we're fighting. You can't let me off that easy, Like, I mentally prepared for this. I'm not gonna just have smoke the peace pipe here and just skate away. So I had a pretty good fight. He knocked my helmet off about 20 feet in the air, but it was a good fight. Yeah, he's a super respectful guy. Yeah, it was nice to be able to say I fought that guy. And growing up, watching him with Edmonton Oilers, and he was like, fighting Probert and these guys. So he was definitely someone I needed to fight to earn some street cred.
That's funny though. It's like, we don't have to fight. You're like, no.
Yeah,
I went through all that. We're fighting.
I would rather say like, "Fuck you, Riley. We're fighting." He's like too nice about it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Brian, what you got on your question, brother?
All right, so I saw recently you had Chris Pronger on your podcast, Nasty Knuckles, which you can get anywhere you can get your podcasts, which was a great interview, by the way. So it's kind of a two-parter. One, were you ever teammates with Chris Pronger while he was in Philly? And if he was, what's like one of your favorite moments you had with Chris? Even, let's say, when you were facing each other.
Oh yeah, I did play with him for a year there, and for whatever reason, he landed up nicknaming me Rigatoni, and it was that was like the one thing that sticks out. He's like Rigatoni, but Nasty used to call me Riggs, and then it was Riggedy Riles, and then Riggs morphed into, well, Prongs comes around and he's like, Riggs, he's like, oh, Rigatoni, and so it's like, hey, Rigatoni, so every morning he's like, hey, Rigatoni, so no, Prongs is one of those guys. He's a goofy guy, but he's also like very serious. I mean, like he's. When it's time to be serious, he goes from like that goofy, laughy guy to like, all right, let's fucking, let's reel it in and let's get after it. So, just having his presence around the locker room, I got along with him well. We were always like early at the rink together and stuff like that. He's obviously a true competitor and a hockey Hall of Famer. I mean, he did it all. So. It was an honor to be able to cross paths with him and, to have a relationship with him. So,
yeah, we actually had the privilege of having him on here over the summer when the pandemic first started. Hell of a guy. He was just so much fun to interview. He just seems like he's got such a huge personality. And I think that's what made it so much fun is that he, not only did he bust our chops, which we kind of expected, but he was busting a bunch of other chops of the people that were viewing in, especially, I don't know if you probably saw his name up here the couple times he's been on here. Is Prism. We kind of nicknamed him Pronger's best friend. Yeah, he's got the nickname Pronger's best friend. So,
yeah, Prong is one of those guys. Like he loves to dish it. You just gotta dish it back. It's like if you don't dish it back, it takes advantage. So you gotta lay your groundwork for sure. Because then it, all of a sudden it turns from like maybe taking advantage to just all fun. But. No, yeah, he definitely likes to give it out, but you gotta call him back out on
it. Yeah, what was funny was he told us about the story he threw JVR's equipment into the hot tub because he kept throwing his stuff all over the place. That was pretty funny when he told us that story. Robbie, what you got? Oh, sorry, Ryan.
No, I don't remember that. I don't know if that happened. After I'd left or whatnot, but stuff like that happens all the time, and you don't necessarily always hear about
it. Oh man, well that was, and the reason why he did, I think it was because somebody was talking about, hey, you got any stories about JVR? And Pronger's like, yeah, I do. Bob, what you got, brother?
I got to ask about this Sunday. The fans coming back to the stadium, back to the well, 3,100 strong, going to be up in there wearing their Oscar Strong shirts. It's going to be a great moment for Philadelphia. It's going to be a great moment around the league as more teams are welcoming in. So, I don't know. I mean, this might be an obvious question, but speak to me on the importance of fans in the building, what they bring to you on the ice.
Well, obviously they bring an element of energy, right? Mainly for the home team, but I think it just adds another dimension of energy. But that being said, I mean, we all grew up playing hockey without that energy. You have the fans there or the mom and dads there clapping, which is some sort of energy, but nothing quite like 20,000 fans, right? But that being said, they've played the last, how many games has it been now? Like 15 games without fans, and it's kind of like back to like almost like training camp status, where there's like no cheers. It's just kind of like just play the game. And it's almost like a scrimmage in a sense. But I always I always think that having fans in the game just makes it extra special. You know what I mean? It's just like adds that extra energy. But obviously, the game can be played without. We've proven that. But I think it just maybe just helps maybe the guys' mental health out, just knowing that maybe we're trending in the right direction and things are maybe getting a little bit more normalized here, and we can get back to the way things were before. So I think from that standpoint, it just kind of like it's like a breath of a breath of fresh air, and just saying, okay, we're heading in the right direction, and this is good. You can look around and you can smile at a fan, because like a lot of guys like that, especially their warm up routines and throwing pucks over and just kind of like interacting. And obviously, once the game's on, there's not a whole lot of interaction, but for home games, for sure, just kind of feeding off the fans a little bit is to me is important. But it's nice to see. It's definitely a step in the right direction.
Oh yeah.
Awesome stuff. And before we say goodbye to Riley, rapid fire, guys. Here we go. Tom Sestito, Dan Carcillo, Riley Cote. Falls Count Anywhere. 3-way match. Who wins?
Whoa. So we're all fighting? Is that what he said?
Yeah, it's Sestito, Carcillo, Cote. Here we go.
WWE style? Is that what this is?
I beat the pants off Carcillo. Sestito was a big boy. I actually coached Tommy. I know I got more of a fighter's heart than he does. He's got size on me, but I think I take them both, honestly, in one fight.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. So there we have it. Cote wins. Done.
Right.
Fatality.
I'm putting money on
it's
it.
over.
Put money on it now.
All right. Well, we thank Riley for joining us here. Awesome getting a chance to talk to him again, and he'll be on with us next month. Obviously in charge of Bodychek Wellness. We got a lot going on tonight for that. You can get 40% off with a special box that they have on Bodychek Wellness, and also you have the regular A2D promo code that gets you 20% off that you can use basically any time that you guys want to check out, and it's absolutely worth checking out Bodychek Wellness using hemp with topicals, gummies, extracts, anything that you guys could possibly want. It's all great stuff for mental and physical, just getting everything balanced and working out perfectly to get you kind of in that straight and narrow, and make yourself better, as you go down, because, life's tough, but this will make it better for you. But, again, also jersey. We're giving the jersey away as well for Bodychek Wellness, and anybody who's been commenting in, we can give that jersey away to any one of you guys. We're going to be throwing your names into the hat, and we're going to be picking a winner. So definitely stay tuned, because jersey's pretty. It's absolutely worth it getting that one, let me tell you. So, Riley, thanks for joining us. We really appreciated it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure, and look forward to next time. So
Awesome.
Appreciate all you guys do. You guys do some good work, so keep it up.
Appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
Riley.
Thank you. And before you head out, any social medias anybody can follow you on, and also the podcast?
Yeah, so my personal on Instagram is Riley Cote32, Riley Cote32 on Twitter, and then Nasty Knuckles Pod on Instagram, Nasty Knuckles on Twitter. And I think that's, we're on Facebook as well. But mainly Instagram, Twitter seem to be our go-tos. So check it out. Give it a listen.
Oh, right then. Awesome. Well, thank you, Riley, and we'll see you next month, brother.
Sounds good. See you guys. Take care.
Appreciate
You
it.
are,
You too, bud.
All right then. So that was Riley Cote, who is owner-operator of Bodychek Wellness, that we are giving away a jersey on, and of course, obviously, most people know, former Philadelphia Flyer and Philadelphia Phantoms enforcer. And we had a lot of fun talking with him about what happened between the Flyers and the Penguins tonight, and got a little bit of little memory lane talk with his time playing for the Flyers against George Laraque. in Pittsburgh, and we found out that if it ever came down to this, as we heard from Cote himself, that he's got this one in the bag. He's got Carcillo beat and he's got Sestito beat. So we know that now, 110% facts.
I felt bad clapping there because I think I ruined his flow. But the moment he said, "Oh, I could easily take car bomb," I was loving it because I loathe Dan Carcillo. That was fabulous.
I hear he's like one of the best guys in the world, but he was a piece of shit on the ice. I couldn't stand the guy. I couldn't stand him.
Hey, we all love hockey here. You're tuning in, us on the show. So even the bottom of the barrel is the cream of the crop in the sporting world. So remember that.
Also, you're just joining us for the first time. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're always here. You got A2D stuff all week long, live shows, all kinds of content. Don't miss out on it. So, like I said, it's your first time. You're enjoying what you're listening to. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that like button on all the social media. Download anything on wherever you get your podcast from, because we're everywhere, baby. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Make it easy on yourself. You get those notifications. You don't got to go scrambling. You know when it's coming. It's coming
Exactly.
hot.
Turn that notifications on, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, we want to see you guys and we want to hear from you guys. And tonight, especially tonight, we definitely want to hear from you guys because, like we said, giving a jersey away, Bodychek Wellness. I know we're pushing this hard, but it's worth it, man. That jersey is sweet. I'm actually trying to find it here. Brodo, I know you're back there. Where is the jersey?
There it is.
Thank you.
There it is.
I was looking for it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm looking through the banners. I'm looking through the brand. I'm literally just clicking on everything that a producer has access to, trying to find this damn thing, and I can't. But anyway.
And people keep the comments flowing. I mean, the more you comment, the more entries you get. You know, you're a gambler. It's a law of probability. It's great game theory. Let's go.
So my shoulder still isn't 100% from last week when I freaked out. It's like all inflamed. I might have to actually give Riley a call and be like, "Yo,
hook me up.
I need help. I need help."
No doubt, Joe. No doubt, Joe.
Oh, for sure. Like that was pretty awesome. Like he's just like, "Yeah, I can take car bomb."
Yeah, that's funny too because that was right off the bat. That wasn't even a pause. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I got car bomb." Like, oh my god, that was great. Not even a second thought at all. It was great. But anyway,
I love talking to him.
Yeah.
Like his insight. Like this is why I love having players on the show. I don't care if they're current or former. Like the insight that they give you is ridiculous. Like he's talking about like perspectives that we can't exactly put out there because I know we've all played the game at one point. Yeah. But to play at that level, you know what I mean? You see more, you hear more. Getting his insight on AV calling that timeout early on, which really was the turning point of the game, was huge. And his insight was great. So we'll say what's up to everybody. Everybody commenting in, keep it coming. We love the love. I know we haven't gotten a chance to read a bunch of them off yet, but
Don apparently has something. He has something to say about the dumbass Red Wings. What do you have to say about the dumbass Red Wings, Don? Feel free. You can write a paragraph if you want. We'll read it. We got no problem doing that.
Yeah. We'll delete them. And
then Dominic Flacco saying Cook was a pain in the ass when he played against. Oh God, I hated Matt Cook when he played for the Penguins. Thank God he's not a Penguin anymore. He would have really pissed me off if he was on the team still. Oh my God.
I like the question by Tom D'Elia. Do you guys see Albe Kubel being taken by the Kraken or somebody else?
Yeah. That. Go ahead, Brian.
All I was gonna say was, I mean, he's not gonna be taken by anybody unless it's the Kraken. And I know he's not on his entry level deal, so he's not protected by that. So I think there's a good chance that he could be, but if I'm the Flyers, I would consider maybe putting him as a protected player, maybe leaving somebody else unprotected, because he's been playing really well. And you guys know, and we talk about we give him all kinds of praise on the show because he may not always find himself on the score sheet, but he's always doing the little things right. He's always in the corners. He's always being physical. He forechecks better than most of the guys on the roster. He just plays his heart out, and he's getting rewarded with points here and there. He had a beautiful pass to Jay for the game winner tonight.
He did.
So I hope he doesn't, but I'm not Chuck Fletcher, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily want to leave Knack unprotected. Now he plays a subtle enough game that maybe the Kraken wouldn't necessarily be interested in him. They might be more interested in maybe not as much of the physical play as more of the finesse play. So maybe if Knack isn't, not to say that Knack doesn't have offensive upside, because he does, but I think he plays a more subtle game where he does a lot of timely hits, cutting guys off from the puck. Like you said, setting up a really great pass that eventually led to the game winner. A little bit more on that side of things, whereas opposed to necessarily getting the goals and being a little bit more flashy. So maybe the Kraken wouldn't necessarily pick him immediately right off the bat. They may see something else that the Flyers have no choice but to leave unprotected and say, no, we'll take that instead. So we might have a situation where maybe Knack wouldn't necessarily be on the priority list for them to take. So we may be lucky enough, even if we don't leave him unprotected, that the Kraken will take somebody else in that regard. Who that somebody else could be, still, I don't know. It's one of those situations where, well, what do you do? Do you go with the JVR angle because he's been a major part of what we've been doing this season, or do you leave Gostisbehere still out there and maybe hope they take him, but even Gostisbehere hasn't been playing all that bad in these last few games. He's actually been playing pretty well. He even has a goal. So I don't know. It's an interesting debate now we have with this situation going forward.
You see, here's the problem. And I like the idea of Jesse's trade. He said I trade Tika, and Rob, I'll let you get to your thing in a second. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw this. Konechny and Ghost or Patrick for Eichel. It's going to take a lot more than that to get him. Plus, cap issues. He's going to be bringing what? It's like $9.5 million cap hit over the next X amount of years.
And this was coming in from this earlier where he said, all right, boys, I know this isn't logical and I love messing around with trades, but if Buffalo has Eichel on the block, would you ship Patrick or Konechny for him or both? Which basically he was just piggybacking off of that question he posted in earlier. But before we dive into that one, Rob, give your thoughts on the whole Knack thing possibly being open for the Kraken or somebody else. And then after that, we can jump into to Jesse's thing.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, boys, but I think if you're on your entry-level deal, doesn't that exclude you from selection? I could be wrong with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so and it makes sense to do that because my ultimate answer is that, yes, the Kraken wants to put together the best roster they can, a la the Vegas Golden Knights, and how quickly they rose to prominence from their excellent expansion draft. But you also have to amass salary cap. Yeah, you have to get some high-priced players to make sure you're above that low mark, above that average. So you're going to target guys with a little bit more, money in their pockets on a yearly basis. I think Seattle will probably target from the Flyers a guy like Bodychek if you leave him unprotected. Certainly Gostisbehere as well, but a JVR could be up for discussion as well, depending on how the Flyers play it. I mean, JVR having the best season of his life right now, up there with Connor McDavid in most statistical categories right now, that might lead to the Flyers wanting to protect him and keep him till he wants to call it quits. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes down. To the Eichel deal, I think if you throw a first-round pick in with that mix, I think that gets that done. And I would hate, because I love Konechny. You love having those guys on your team that are the chirpers, the instigators that get the the opposition off their game. But if you can bring in a talent like Jack Eichel, which would certainly solve your sniper problems, and give you a bona fide goal scorer, and surround him with a cast of characters that he's never seen in his young career, man. It would be a match made in heaven. Unfortunately, I think if Eichel goes to any team, it's going to be the New York Rangers. He's expressed the desire to put on a blue shirt. So you know.
But he already does.
Yeah. He does
He
all
already
right.
put on a blue sweater.
But he'll be putting on the blue shirt.
He
So
put on that color right there.
yeah, but the blue shirt. There's only one the blue shirt really in the NHL. We all know which one that is.
To Tom's point here, which makes a valid point. That's just eagerness from a young player. Unfortunately, a lot of the guys from time to time, they'll hit a delay game penalty, trying to hit the glass, misses completely. One of the other things about the too many men on the ice penalty, he may not necessarily be the one jumping off too early, but he always seems to be the one that's being put into the box. But it's not necessarily meaning that he's the guy that's committing the penalties. He just might be the guy serving. A lot of times you take one of your bottom six guys and throw them in the box for the too many men on the ice for the bench penalties.
True. And since he likes to play a physical game, get his reps started early. Make sure he gets a lot of penalty minutes. That's the way it's got to be.
So,
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom. So Prism, love you, bro. Really do. It's your deal for Eichel to go to the Rangers. It's not going to involve Lafreniere. I can already tell you that now. From what I understand, and some of the stuff that I'm hearing, and no, I'm not saying sources, because that's not what we do here at HUD. It's going to be Kakko. Kakko is apparently the guy that's going to be expendable to bring Eichel to New York. Adam Fox, I could see in the deal because they definitely need some young defensemen. Zibanejad,
it's an option.
Maybe if you're getting more than Eichel in return, and you're definitely going to have to give up at least one first-round pick. If the Rangers want to sell their future like that, though, all for it. Just handcuff themselves eventually down the road.
I mean, and now this one he would have for two players, Eichel and Middlestat. Now, I do like Casey Middlestat. He is actually a pretty strong player, but again, though, that's a lot. Zibanejad's been having a rough year, but that doesn't necessarily reflect the player that he is. He's been off to a slow start. A lot of the Rangers have been. The Rangers have had a really rough go at it to begin the year. And yeah, Lafreniere hasn't wowed everybody, but again, how old's Lafreniere? Like, he's not that old. This is
not even that. It's not even that. I think you bring in Zibanejad, and I'm looking it up now. You got to move somebody with a contract in order to bring those two guys in. Because, like I said, you're getting a huge contract with Eichel. Eichel's making $9.5 million as a cap hit. So if you put Zibanejad in that deal, who's got 2 years left on his contract, it's 5.3, which isn't necessarily a bad move to make, but you still might need to move more. They are sitting currently, and they do have the cushion penalty of $4.2 million. They have 1.8 in cap space, so it's going to be a tough one. You're going to have to move a big contract.
So, with all this talk about Eichel going on to the trade block, basically, what does this mean for Buffalo? Just like, Jesus, you're right back to square one all over again. It's just another one of those, holy shit, get ready for a rebuild of a rebuild for the third time.
Yeah,
it's just
boy.
Go ahead, Rob. I was done.
No. I said, yeah, boy. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was just saying that, man, that franchise, it is battered. Like, good God. I mean, I know that the Devils haven't exactly been living up to anything right now recently, but, man, compared to what Buffalo, they at least made the playoffs a few years back. Buffalo hasn't even sniffed it. Like, it's been that bad for them. Like, it's just
salty tears.
I don't know what to tell you if you're a Buffalo fan. I really don't. At this point, I really don't know what to tell you.
Salty tears. That's the only kind I ever have.
Oh, Jesus. Chris, for sure. You got to expose Don. Gustafson is probably – he's got a 2-year deal? Probably be a good move there.
Jesse goes plays like Carlson or AMAC, no in-betweens.
Yeah. It's true. You did have that fine defensive play in front of the net, though, as the Penguins were pushing for that game-tying goal. So I'll give credit where credit's due there. Good to see.
No, for sure. I did hear, and Chris Dunn's comment actually heard this. He said, "I'm hearing it's actually Ekholm from Nashville to the Flyers. So getting Mattias Ekholm would be a huge upgraded defense for the Flyers. I think that's the type of defenseman that they need right now. One, he's your vet. Two, he's got some offensive upside, but he's still pretty good on the defensive side. He can be physical. He'll clear out the front of the net.
Yeah.
And he's definitely not going to cost you a ton. But he's going to cost something.
Yeah, you brought him up on a past show as a possibility of a guy that you could bring in here. And to your Buffalo point, Maddie, man, I mean, boy, was I wrong about Buffalo and putting it all together, because they have not. They've quit on Ralph Kruger. It's blatantly obvious. We saw that over the weekend where they just stopped playing defense in front of the net. I mean, particularly the topic at hand, Jack Eichel, looking staring off into space as Couturier bangs in the back of the net. And then Kruger, who's been preaching that you need to win at all costs. And I believe, we had a 3-0 lead at that time, and doesn't pull the goaltender there in the last 2 minutes. I mean, 3-0 is not out of hand. You've seen that. You've seen teams pull the goal and fight for there. So it's a mess there in Buffalo. And I mean, it's no surprise that they're talking about blowing things up. But I just wanted to bring up how much I was wrong, because most analysts always pride themselves on being right, but I'll share it both ways.
No, but I mean, it's just one of those things where you would think of, but with a team getting a player like Jack Eichel, you would think, how hard can it be to build around him? Apparently, Buffalo shows it's rocket science. So, it's just, I mean, not every player is going to pan out, but at the end of the day, Christ, this is Jack Eichel. This is a slam dunk. How do you fuck this up? And apparently Buffalo figured out how to fuck it up. But anyway, Jesse saying, I like the Ekholm, but not giving up Farabee like the Preds want. I would not give up Farabee. No. Absolutely not. Like, listen, I'm totally down with getting him, but I wouldn't trade Farabee. Now, this may sound like a bad idea in the long run, but hear me out.
Oh, boy.
Maybe you consider throwing in a prospect that we haven't seen yet. Maybe you consider the option.
No, for sure. Oh, absolutely. Not even thinking about it. I would consider putting Frost in there.
That I can see. I can see the Frost one. It's a shame because he's got a cool name, but it is what it is. But Nashville right now, because look at where Nashville's is. They're going to rebuild. Where they're at, they need to retool this team. That team is not looking good at all. So my thought process is we could throw somebody out there that we haven't seen yet that has a lot of potential. Preds would be willing to take it, and we wouldn't have to give up somebody who's contributing now, like a Farabee, and that should be enough. And if you want to package in a depth player that we can afford to lose, so be it. But that would be my route. I would go with this.
No, for sure. And like I was saying, they're in. I don't want to say they're in full rebuild mode. I would call it retooling, but they're looking to sell pieces off, and they want to get younger. I'm hearing Philip Forsberg's name involved in a couple trade talks. Where? I don't know, but I hear he's potentially available. But if you're gonna trade Ekholm, they're gonna do it for younger pieces, and you can. I'll be honest. Like, I think you could sacrifice Morgan Frost, maybe a Wade Allison, somebody along those lines, because they want to get younger, and there's talent there. And Ekholm is a very good top 4 defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you, Brian. I mean, all the talent in the world doesn't make it for sure that it's going to translate on the ice. You're trading the unknown for a known commodity. That I don't care what sport you're talking about. That's deals you have to make, but it's also situationally based. Where are the Flyers at in the standings at that point? You know what I mean? What's your realistic chance of making a push for a cup to give up on on a caliber player like a Morgan Frost, Cam York, any of such?
No, for sure. That's a great point, Rob, because that plays a part in it too. Like, are they going to make a push? Where are they in the standings? What's the expectations for this team? We've all said earlier in the year, before the season even started, we all expect the Eastern Conference Finals appearance for this team. Could they still get there? Yeah. Are they playing like it? No. but a lot of it is on the defensive side because you lose Matt Niskanen, and that defense pretty much fell apart.
Yeah,
And
it's been rough.
They're not the same. Now, bring in a guy like Ekholm, that's veteran leadership there. He wears an A in Nashville. So you're bringing in a leader. You're bringing in a vet. You're bringing in a guy who can help some of these younger guys continue to grow because we can see that they're all taking steps back.
Yeah,
at least that's my opinion. I think they're all most of them are taking steps back.
I think it's the lack of leadership, like you were saying, and that's pretty much the reason why they're having these struggles. You need a defensive leader, and it's obvious that they do. Without Niskanen, we found out that this team, great potential with a lot of these great players that we have on the defensive end, but you know what? They need a veteran leader to kind of rally them and give them light a fire under their ass to make them play it's like, hey, let's do this. Let's get this going, boys.
Even Provy in the corner during the third period, really playing too cool there where he has a puck within his range to clear out of the zone. And he's not skating hard towards. I don't want to pick apart Provy. I mean, his game has been pretty solid, but there's little moments like that where, I hate to use this expression, but you need someone I'm going to say it in a more positive way. You need that driving force. You need that guy barking at you, holding you accountable on the ice. The coaches are doing it off the ice, but on the ice, who's holding these boys accountable? Because in that Pittsburgh game, when you had two Pittsburgh Penguins get behind Provorov and Gostisbehere, it was no wonder why they were broken up for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then also on top of that as well, look at a perfect example of that. Look at what we saw. Knack. Knack he had a chance to take a shot and he chose to pass it instead. What happened a few moments later? You see Giroux, and they actually had a camera shot of him. Giroux gave him a little bump on the arm and said, that was wrong. Don't do that again. He's like,
yeah, and that's what we all thought. But then I listened to the interview after the game, and he was actually apologizing to Knack because he was calling for the puck. He goes, sometimes I need to be a little more quiet on the ice because I was calling for it, and that's what prompted the pass. But you know what? I could be calling for it with the bullhorn. You're getting off, the shot first mentality mindset that's been so successful over the past few games.
No, absolutely. And I love Drew's like, listen, he's like, next time just tell me to shut up and take the shot,
Yeah.
Sometimes because I agree with you, Matty. Sometimes you got to get or I forget if it was you or Roberts who said this. I think it was you.
It was one of us.
You got to get off that shoot first mentality. You know what I mean? I like him he does have the offensive upside. You've seen it. Take the shot if they're giving it to you.
Yeah. Absolutely. By the way, Don believes they need to sell their future for Jack since we never get the first picks. If you're talking about when it's randomly drawn and you should have gotten the first overall pick this past summer, yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. You definitely should have.
Hold on. I think they made out better getting Lucas Raymond right now than Alex Lafreniere. Lafreniere, I think, only has like 3 points so far this season.
That's a good point.
I'm not laughing at Don. I had this mental picture because, as you boys know, I've been doing social media posts lately and creating memes, and I had this picture of Detroit Red Wings trade their whole franchise for Jack Eichel, and you see an opposing team, and then in the Red Wings jersey, all you see is Jack Eichel and nobody else.
He still win more games. He still win more games. Just by himself.
Probably because he's not in Buffalo. But anyway,
so Raska, Panarin's back in Russia. He's got some. He's got some issues he's got to work out. Personal issues, so he took a leave of absence.
It's going to be a minute before we see him in a Rangers jersey. Hopefully, all that's taken care of though before the season's out.
Don wants to know. Don wants to know, and this is a fair question.
Before we dive into Don, he does say my source is Jeff Blashill to the basement of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So he's gonna Don Leatherface is just gonna have Jeff Blashill. Just imagine that horror movie. You've got Leatherface making the mask of Jeff Blashill, and he puts it. I'm not gonna lie, I would go see that just for that reason alone.
Why can't we get in the running car?
Yeah.
stupid?
Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Chainsaws, yeah. Oh my god! And I
Just
love
like that.
too. The serial
Calgary
killer
was
just.
up 6-1. They're up 6-3 now.
Oh wow! Holy
With
shit!
13:38 to go. So Don wants to know. Don, I hope you're doing well, brother. Seems like you're handling hockey season as well as you can, being a Red Wings fan. He wants to know: is it me or is there a lot of bad to average teams in the NHL?
I think there are some teams that are underperforming. And I mean, hell, look at what the Flyers are doing.
Oh, what a
Flyers,
save.
you could say the Flyers are definitely underperforming because I would agree with that. We saw Pittsburgh's kind of somewhat underperforming. For where they're at. They're still a solid team. They should be doing a little bit better than what they were at the beginning of the year. But look at a lot of teams got off to really rough starts. Toronto didn't have a great start. They rounded it back eventually. And we saw Carolina had a few moments of flirting with a little bit of problems. Dallas came right the fuck back down to earth after having that break. They had that great surge, and then it immediately went nosedive. It's just there's been a lot of underperformances from a lot of the teams that you wouldn't necessarily expect underperformances from. And there's been some great performances from some of the teams that you didn't expect it from. We were kind of sleeping on Boston, and sure enough, Boston decides to come out this year and, show everybody why they were able to win a President's Trophy last year and just beat the piss out of everyone, especially the Flyers. They love picking on the Flyers this year, big time. But that's what I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of underperformances from some teams. Some of them have reared it back, some haven't, and that's why I think we're seeing some of the stats we're seeing.
I don't know. My impression has been overall good parity in the league. If you look across the 4 realigned divisions, a lot of battles for between that 3rd, 4th, 5th seed in the division to make the playoffs. You had a team like the LA Kings, who were abysmal last year in the playoff race, playing good hockey. Ottawa Senators, Tim Stützle is showing that he's the real deal right off the bat, maybe even ahead of Perrier. I'm seeing a lot of parity in this league, more so than other leagues. But I pay attention more to the Flyers than around the league, so I could be misguided there.
I don't necessarily agree with Don's assessment there. I think we did. There's definitely more average teams than below average. I just think with the way that the divisions are lined up, you're seeing more playoff atmosphere type of games. So you're playing your rivals more.
Yeah.
So you get that playoff atmosphere. Teams build momentum, and you're seeing them multiple days in a row. And I think that's a huge factor. Especially St. Louis and Arizona earlier. You don't think there's that blood there? Now they just played 7 games. They played 7 games in a row earlier in the month, or earlier in February.
That's a team that's
a huge factor. It plays a huge, some teams are playing better because they're playing in worse divisions. Some teams are playing worse because they're in better divisions.
Yeah, Yeah, I see what you're talking about because you're not. Yeah, because you're not going on those West road trips, facing teams that you only face once or twice a season, and then, they're not used to each other. So you get a win or you get a loss because you had a bad game or you had a really good game and they just weren't ready. Shit like that happens in the 82. And when it's a regular season, even if this was 56 games, if it had been a regular season, you're still going to get those road trips sometimes. But we're not even seeing that. So it's just one of those, you're right. You're seeing a lot of playoff games, a lot of rivalry matchups. One team, though, that I will point out that I would say has been a little bit has been St. Louis, and I think a lot of that has been due to the fact you lose Alexander Pietrangelo. I think that was a big loss. Steen retired. Those were some tough losses to take, Now, I will say this, though. Shit. Hoffman. There we go. I almost forgot his name. How the hell did I forget that? Anyway. Hoffman, getting him was huge for St. Louis. He's been a huge part of how their offense has been producing goals for this season. But
who else? Freaking David Perron.
Yeah, David Perron too.
What?
It's not necessarily his forte.
St. Louis, Minnesota, they're all paying dividends
Mm.
Did I say that right? They're all making out because they're in such a shitty division. They're in a division with 4 or 5 other rebuilding teams and Arizona.
Yeah.
So, goes to my point saying that, there's teams out there that are playing better because they're not seeing certain teams.
Yeah.
You got Pacific Division specifically because we're talking about St. Louis at the moment. Colorado, St. Louis, Minnesota, Vegas.
Mm.
That's really the 3 teams they have to worry about. Every other team, they just spanked Anaheim in 2 games. The last 2 games they played, just done. And Anaheim's playing good hockey. They just can't finish.
Well, I mean, that's what you go through when you're building your team back up. But, hey, with some of the talent that you guys have, when that team's ready to go, they're going to be a tough team to deal with moving forward.
Don, even to Don's point here, the Blackhawks
yeah.
are another team that are. Well, I think that I also said at the beginning of the year that I thought they were going to be a much better team than people think, and they're starting to show why. I also thought at the time that Jonathan Toews was going to be in the lineup, but they're playing really well, playing really good hockey despite not having Jonathan Toews. Just imagine if he comes back.
Yeah,
that's just going to add more fuel to the fire.
Absolutely, and Prism sums it up very well here. The Blackhawks got the champions mentality. Kane is an MVP, and the Blackhawks make the playoffs. And Kane, when he's on another level, and he's been on another level recently, it's like
MVP, baby.
Yeah, forget it.
He's to me right now. He's in heart conversations.
He should be.
The Chicago Blackhawks offense on his back and is carrying that entire offense right now. And Duncan Keith is finally healthy again. He's starting to play really well back on the back end again. Starting to see the Duncan Keith from the the cup run, the dynasty days. Yeah, it's just crazy. And yeah, Jesse, Kings are playing well too. They're not setting the world on fire, but they're playing better than expected because they're it's just how the divisions worked out. They're playing the same teams over and over.
They're showing that they've got a big future ahead of them, and it's just the youth coming through. You know what I mean? Some players are also finding a revamp of their career, out in LA right now. And then you also, Prism also said Florida is his surprise team so far. And Florida's been playing pretty well. Now, it's sad to say that we have to say Florida's a surprise because Florida should have been consistent by now. But hey, you know what? If this is what it takes for Florida to get off the schneid and actually do something, so be it.
Sorry, Berto sent us a photo.
Oh, he did? Oh, no.
If you guys can see it.
Oh, hold on. He probably sent it to me. Oh, no. Okay, there it is.
It's the smelling salts earlier.
Oh, my God, yes. They showed that shot of him doing the smell. He basically snorted. He huffed that shit. It was freaking hilarious. Oh, my God.
Looking like Tyrone Bigham's over there.
Seriously.
Oh, yes, Brodo.
Correct me if Carter looked like he just discovered fire. That's what I'm going to post that on our socials, A2D Radio, if anyone wants to follow us. But at the end of it looks honestly like that's the first time he's ever seen smelling salts.
Yeah, no, he was just kind of.
He's like, oh, this looks interesting. What is this? What is over here?
Is this a Tootsie? What is this? Is this a Tootsie? No, it's not a Tootsie Roll. I don't want it. I don't want it anymore.
That shit was freaking hilarious when I saw that. Oh my God. It's like, well, if Carter wasn't awake for this game, he fucking is now. And it was funny too because I thought to myself, with the very beginning of the game, I thought when AB called that timeout, oh my God, is Elliott pulled already? I'm like, oh shit. Well, hey, guess what, Hart? Time to wake the fuck up.
He gave up 3 goals in 1 minute and 11 seconds.
I know.
Everybody thought he was done. Even Jim Jackson, who is really starting to get on my nerves, by the way, thought that he was getting pulled. He's like, oh, looks like Carter Hart's getting ready to come in. Carter's just kind of sitting there like this.
That's it.
Oh, looks like Carter Hart's getting ready.
Penalties not being there in person, though, I think a little bit.
Absolutely.
Maybe
sure.
I wasn't saying that, but no, I hear you. I hear your point. I don't know. I think a good title for that meme, Brodo. Not, you write it out however you like, but you could be like when you reach into the drawer expecting to grab Taryn Hatcher's panties and you get some smelling salts. Ooh.
Well done. Well done.
Oh
Oh
my God.
Best part is that has backstory to it because we all know he made that little flyby to her. You know, like what was it? 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that.
There was some talk in one of the Flyers groups. We were noticing that Hart has a day off, and all of a sudden, Taryn Hatcher comes on air with a turtleneck hiding the hickeys.
Let's go!
Love it. Well, hang on. Let me clarify because our buddy Joe, who's making an appearance for the first time in like 7 months, don't know where he's been, but he decided to pop back up today, which is great. We'd love to have you back, Joe. We'd love to have you. Saying, well, back off the JJ talk. First of all, he's very good at what he does. I'm not saying that. He's a very good hockey announcer. His voice gets on my nerves more now than ever. I used to love his voice. I'm like, all right, the sounds of hockey. Jim Jackson. Now I'm like, can somebody please give me like something sharp I can stab my eardrums with? Like, please. It's just his voice just drives me nuts.
Well, Joe, if it makes you feel any better, I really don't feel that same way. That's just me. Then again, though, if they did say, hey, JJ's leaving, but we're bringing in Gary Thorne, I'd be like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Ain't happening.
I'll take Gary Thorne.
Gary Thorne's on the contract with the Baltimore Orioles. He ain't going.
I know. They're holding him hostage, calling shitty baseball. But anyway,
I like JJ, but if you don't like him, you just mute the TV and throw on some Master of Puppets during the game. It's awesome to listen to Metallica and watch hockey. It's just the best thing ever.
Or a little Slayer, Rain and Blood.
I like Keith Jones. Like Keith Jones is to me, he's a Philadelphia treasure.
Oh,
and I said, I love JJ. He does a great job calling the games. I just can't stand the sound of his voice.
Yeah, I think saying I second your agreement there, Poe.
I think Joe's right on this one. He's saying that probably won't be having Taryn or Andrea on anytime soon.
That was before those comments. We were never getting them on this show. Before that.
I would love to have Taryn on the show because I would love to pick her brain about how she got to where she was and kind of like her whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure, no, I swear to God.
Yeah.
I swear.
If we got her on this show, I would have to put Brian in a freaking bird cage. Okay, I would have to.
That's not true. No, you would have to do that if she was in studio with us, but not like this. You don't have to worry about me like this.
You say that like that's not a bad thing. You say that like, oh, I'm a normal human. You say that like that's not an alarming thing.
Oh my God! Well, we can make that the headline though. Hockey Happy Hour interview with Taryn Hatcher in studio with Brian Daly in Birdcage special match.
You see me rocking cage? Let me out of here.
In the shark cage. Well, we'll have him hanging like they do in the wrestling matches. You just see Brian in the shark cage elevated.
Just sit there like Garfield.
But if we're going to do that though, we can't have bars. It has to be penalty box, hockey glass. We have to keep this themed. High class here. Anyway,
I don't care. I'm going to be in probably jail for rape for that. Maybe I shouldn't say that on here.
We got video evidence. That one now. That's a confession. Anyway, that's a confession.
I'm just going to immediately stop there because that's a terrible thing to say. Should never said it. I'm going to put myself in timeout for that one. But I want to know, like, she went from being a South Jersey girl going to Rutgers to going all the way out to being a sports reporter for, I think it was the University of Hawaii, to come back all the way over here to just be a commentator for the Flyers. I want to pick at her brain. I want to know, like, was it just the best opportunity on the table to go to Hawaii? Like, where just I just want to know her story, her journey. I like to talk to people about that. Like, I'm trying to get Marissa Roberto from TSN to tell me her story, but she doesn't respond to my messages. Don, I crossed the line there quite a bit, so
yes,
I'm on timeout for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're not gonna. We no comments on that. We'll move forward.
I'm actually going to mute myself.
Yeah, but Joe, with that one, well, Brian, maybe you're Stan in that episode of South Park where he hits a certain age and everything looks and sounds like shit. Coming this fall, the president is a duck.
Yeah, I'm definitely a cynical person. I hit like 30 and just everything went to shit. So anyway, back to timeout.
And Chris was saying is Jim Jackson is all we have left. But he does say Dornhofer and Cote said how it was and didn't kiss the players' asses. True. Cote, I've listened to him on the radio broadcast, and he'll say it. He'll say, like, yeah, that was terrible. He'll come out and say it outright. Of course, I think with radio, there's a little bit more leeway. Although, how would you guys feel if Tim Saunders all of a sudden started doing the television? Would it feel weird because he wouldn't be doing radio? I kind of feel like it'd be a little weird because I'm so used to him on the radio.
Believe it or not, it's hard to make that crossover because you're so used to describing every little nuance that you don't need to do, and it's actually overstated on television that I don't think it would work. I don't think it would work quite well. I mean, I'm fine with Jim Jackson on the play-by-play. You know, you're talking about former broadcasters for the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't know if you boys caught that article. I believe it was in The Athletic about Chris Therien and his battle with alcoholism and triumph over that. It was a remarkable read. If you haven't read it out there, definitely check it out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, and hey, you know, Bundy coming over his alcoholism, which big ups to him, you know, which is never easy. And by the way,
it's not easy. That's going to be a whole story for another day, but yeah.
By the way, if you do have someone that you know who is struggling with any kind of addictions at all, whether it be alcoholism or whether it be mental issues of some kind, it could be drugs, it could be anything. If you know someone, whether it's a friend or a family member, one of your loved ones, do not waste time. We're happy that we have support. We are supporting the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need to get the help for yourself or for that loved one, call 856-651-8117. Addiction is a terrible thing. Mental health issues is an awful thing as well. Don't waste time. Don't. Because those things can turn into something even worse than any physical injury you could possibly sustain. Physical injury, you know, while they are terrible and they throw your life into a tailspin, having any kind of addictions or any kind of mental issues on the tail end of a physical issue, that can tailspin into something even worse, where you're struggling in debt, you're struggling keeping your life together. Those are the kind of things you don't want to see. So don't waste time, whether for yourself or for that loved one. 856-651-8117. Counseling Center, Sunrise Detox. All right. So,
Jesse, I think Scotty Hartle's doing pretty well behind the desk. What do you boys think?
Yeah, I agree for sure. He's been great. Like I was saying before, he's a great hockey mind. He's got some personality, so he's not going to sit there and just be a drone up there, you know, just talking just to talk, blah blah. He's gonna throw. He's got great perspective. He's got, like I said, he's got a great personality. I think he's doing great. You know, talking about shitty hockey and all that. Sorry, shitty hockey.
What'd you just say?
Oh, dude, you know what's funny is that even Taryn Hatcher looked over. She's like, "What? Fired on your first day? Like what?" No, he's doing great. He's doing great. I love listening to him talk.
Yeah, I mean, Hartnell's one of those guys that's like it's funny. Maybe it's because I just remember seeing him play, and it's just like anytime Hartnell was there, it's just like, you know, it just made things better. You know, it's just in me. Maybe it was the fact that Hartnell was that kind of guy. It's like, you know what? Whatever you need, Hartnell was going to provide, and that's exactly what he does. You know, in between, you know, it's kind of like, you know, Hartnell provides that, either that kick in the ass or that, you know, like, hey man, great period, great stuff, boys.
Life of the party.
Yeah.
Ted, always appreciate your support there, brother. Always telling us to have a great show. We appreciate you, our friend. Our friend? Yeah, definitely our friend.
Our friend, yes.
Raska, yeah, they are going to be busy. They're going to be selling pieces off. As you talk about the Anaheim Ducks. Chris, it was. Oh crap! This is 40 with Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann. That's where Scotty. It was Scotty, JVR, Ian LePerriere, and some other random hockey player.
But while you guys are thinking of that one, though, I would totally make this move that Joe is saying, but unfortunately, it would cause way too much controversy, so they would never do it. I would not be mad if they brought Roenick into this. I really wouldn't be, because I loved it when Roenick played. Like, yeah, I know the controversy and everything, but it really wasn't that bad, and he apologized for it, so it's just, I don't know. I would love to see Roenick. I always liked it. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I'd be for it. I mean, I get it that, in this world, you really need to be careful what you're saying. And we're lucky on this platform to be able to speak our minds without that curtailment. And, if I offended anybody with my comments before, I don't really care. Sorry. But in Roenick's case, you got to think about, he did his time in the sin bin. You know what I mean? Is the guy never supposed to work again? You know what I mean? It's a tough call because nobody wants to take on that quote unquote black eye. But I mean, obviously he was a great analyst, good behind the desk for pre-games and intermissions. So I mean, it'd be a talent. Certainly knows the game.
Yeah.
Wyatt Russell was the last hockey player. Sorry, It was Matt Carl. It wasn't JVR. It was Matt Carl. Matt Carl, Ian LePerriere. Oh, JVR was in there.
I just remember Megan Fox putting in Ian LePerriere's teeth.
Pretty sure he made out. They made out, didn't they, in that movie? I was a little jealous. Phil Burke. Phil Burke was another one, and Wyatt Russell was the other player. So I forgot. I knew it was Hartnell. I know it was JVR, Ian LePerriere. I forgot Matt Carl was in it.
That was back in the day.
That was a good movie. That was a really good movie. I hated Knocked Up, but I really liked This Is 40. I thought they did a really good job with that movie.
I do like Jesse's comment though. Hartnell talks like he could be a pro NHL hockey player or an Olympic snowboarder or surfer.
Oh, for sure.
I love Hartnell. He's one of the nicest guys. He really is. I think he's a great guy.
Yep.
And Prism did have a comment said, "I'm addicted to collecting." Well, we have the perfect situation for you, and we also have a perfect situation for everybody else who's watching now. Berto, I'm going to need your help with this one. We are giving away a jersey from Bodychek Wellness, and if you have commented in, that is the jersey right there, which is absolutely gorgeous. If you have commented in the show tonight, like Prism, as well as so many others have tonight, and we thank you all for doing so, you are entered in, and we will be picking a winner, and whoever we get, you have yourself a nice Bodychek Wellness jersey that you'll get straight from Riley Cote. So
pick me.
You know we can't.
Whatever.
Yeah, but Joe's saying This Is 40 is like 3 hours long and it just doesn't end. However, I had like 80% of the same fights with my wife that Paul Rudd and his wife had in the movie. Oh my God, that is great.
I mean, that's terrible that you had to have those fights, but it makes your relationship stronger sometimes going through those rough patches. It was a longer movie, but I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. Oh, Ted said pick him.
Well, I mean, I know. Listen, guys, we gotta be fair on this. I know. You want to raise your hand, you want to get it. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but we got to make this fair for everybody.
Hey, hold on, Jesse, why do you feel so alone? What's going on, bro? What do you mean?
We got everybody in here tonight. We've got Joe, we got Chris, we've got Prism, we got everybody in here. We got Ted in here. I don't know why he's feeling alone. Don. Yeah, Don. He's saying, Ted, relax.
Well, now we know who we're not picking. Don. Telling people to relax. Just kidding.
Chris is saying, I want to see the Kraken bring Yager and Datsuk back for their first season. If they did, then I hope they win the cup right off the bat.
Datsuk's contract is up after this year? I think it's officially done after this year, and he's done in the NHL.
Not sure.
Meanwhile, he's still looking like a superstar over in Europe. Still the human highlight reel. I'm going to look that up real quick. He's in where? Arizona? No.
Well, Tom, good night, brother. Take care. It's with the little one and everything. And, yeah. And we got Philly Insider Podcast chiming in. Yo, what's up, Philly Insider Podcast?
Philly Insider? What's going on?
And they are now thrown into the pot as well, so they might very well possibly win that jersey. So there you go. Literally, everybody who's in here tonight has an opportunity, of course, except me and Brodo and Rob and Bry. No, we
Y'all
can't win it.
selfish. Y'all selfish not letting me in on this.
But yeah. One last one we got here. If you were Panarin, wouldn't you just move your whole family out of Russia to get away from Putin? I would do that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a shitty situation. I can't. That's just a shitty situation.
It is. It's a shame that this is what happens, but when you have a Soviet dictator, in charge of Russia again, this is what happens. They did not learn anything from the Cold War. They learned not a damn thing. Anyway.
Putin looking to go all Shagogi on him. I mean, I don't mean to bring on, that's very tragic, but it's what you get.
I mean, I'm just happy that
dictatorship.
Panarin is handling his business and doing what he needs to do to make sure everything is right before he comes back.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no saying how long it's going to be.
Yeah, no
Absolutely.
saying. And Philly Insider, you are right. Big comeback win tonight. Flyers getting a huge win on their cross-state rivals. Those piece of shit Pittsburgh Penguins wearing their piss yellow jerseys, and we pissed all over them.
Like mustard, absolutely. Speaking of comebacks, couple facts here you heard during the broadcast, in case you didn't. This was the first comeback win this season when the Flyers were trailing after 2 periods. Good sign to see of a club fighting back, showing that intestinal fortitude. But the Flyers avoided losing back-to-back games for the first time since January of 2020. So you can say all you want about how they're not playing, need to improve here, need to improve there. And it is true. You're not going to continue to go on. But, I mean, dating back to last year, piling up a lot of wins. I think you got to shore these areas up to make sure you win when it counts.
It's a little bit of breaking news here real quick.
Cool.
Not very good ones. Raska's kind of – Walter Gretzky passed away, father Wayne Gretzky, at the age of 82 years old.
That's a shame. That's a real shame. And thoughts and condolences to him. Also, for any wrestling fans who may be in the chat, Jim Crockett Jr. passed away. For those who may not know, he basically founded he was the second generation that took over the Mid-Atlantic territory that eventually became WCW. So thoughts and condolences to both the Gretzky family for everyone and also to the Crockett family as well for the ground that was broken in both the hockey and wrestling world. But Tom's saying I had to leave for a bit, so didn't know if you answered my last question. But if you're Vino, do you go with Elliott on Saturday? Hart will get his starts in this long stretch, but Elliott should start.
Get the kid back out there.
I would put Hart back in, because I feel like, I don't necessarily blame the loss on him. I think there was just again. I know a lot of people are, they rag on Hart, and I'm not saying Tom is. I don't think he is. It's just one of those things of a lot of people are ragging on Hart, and it's like I don't blame him. It's like, yeah, sometimes he's given up some softies here and there, but again, a lot of those opportunities have been given to the other team. The defense has left him out to dry. When you give a ton of opportunities, you're going to get the results. Sometimes the goalie can bail your ass out of the fire. Sometimes he can't, but it should never have to come to that in the first place. You should play strong in front of them.
Well, I mean, besides against Boston in that one game against the Sabres, he's actually played pretty well in between. I mean, unfortunately, perception is 9/10 of the law, just like possession. And the perception is that he's playing poorly. I think, Ted or Tom, that if let's say Brian Elliott came out here and shut down the Penguins from Jump Street, and the Flyers win this game like 3-1, 4-1. Then I would consider going back to Elliott on Saturday, riding the hot hand, because it's a short season and because you're not fracturing the psyche of Hart, who is the future of this organization. But because at the start, and don't get me wrong, I mean, Elliott after those 3 goals, and not to put those 3 goals on Elliott, it was more the defense hanging him out to dry. But he did come up and made some good saves. I think you do have to go back to Hart. You don't want to overplay Elliott, because then you lose the value there of overplaying an older goaltender.
Yeah. And not even just that. You got to continue to get the kid out there, continue to show the confidence in him. If you continue to show confidence in him, his confidence is going to continue to rebuild. And like Matty was saying, a lot of the goals that he's been giving up is just not necessarily his fault. I mean, he hasn't been playing great. He's put himself in some poor positions, and probably letting some softies in that he should be saving. But if you continue, he's 22 years old, so his confidence is it always seems to be teetering, especially at the young age. You continue to show confidence in the kid, his confidence is going to continue to grow, and he's just going to continue to get better. He's not going to be able to correct the mistakes from sitting on the bench. He's got to be able to correct the mistakes from being out on the ice. Yeah, and Tom was saying, certainly not ragging on Hart, but Elliott was probably the number 1 starter tonight, if not Giroux. For sure. I think he earned it. And absolutely. And yeah, I don't think you are. It's definitely one of those, it's one of those debates of, do you go with the hot hand, do you not, kind of situation. And I understand that, but, I like you were saying, Brian, you go with Hart, give the, show that you have the confidence in the kid, because he is the future of the team. No doubt about it. And, you gotta have him take his lumps. And Riley said it earlier in the show, it's just a couple of humps he's facing in the road. And he's right. It's like, it's a couple of hurdles, and you're going to get that with a young player. It's not going to be immediate right out of the gate. He's putting up numbers that'll rival fucking Perrant. It's just one of those things of, he's going to have those rough patches, and the team playing in front of him hasn't helped anything. So it's a rough year. And he saw it tonight. And you saw it tonight early on. I preach this, I feel like, every week. Your goaltender is only going to be as good as your defense, and the defense hasn't done a good job most of the year. Luckily, the offense has been there to bail him out. Hart being your number 1, you expect him to be able to steal games here and there for the Flyers. He hasn't been able to do that this year, but you know what? Again, it's only 22. We don't want to push this kid out of town. The Flyers finally have a franchise goaltender, which they haven't had since Ron Hextall. We don't want to do the same thing to him that we did with Carson Wentz, because of one bad year, run the dude out of town. Yeah, he's not even necessarily having a bad year. He's had a couple rocky games, but how many goaltenders have? Goaltenders all throughout the league have rocky games. Carey Price is a Vezina Trophy winner multiple times. Pretty sure he's won a Hart or 2, which is the league MVP. I think he has, yeah. He's had bad stretches as well. He's had bad years, but that doesn't not make him a top 10 goaltender in the league. Now, granted, Carter Hart, I think, is 33rd in goals against right now. He's young. He still has some room to grow, but he has to be on the ice if he wants to continue to develop. Absolutely. And also, let's piggyback off that, what you said about Price. Let's look at what happened with Montreal when they didn't have Price in net. Not good. Remember those stretches when Montreal didn't have Price because he was out with an injury? The team sucked without him. They were losing games without Carey Price in net because he was the guy that they needed to get the job done at the end of the day. And that's the thing. Like, you don't want to take that away from the Flyers either.
You know what I mean? And that's going to happen as time goes along. You know, we're going to start seeing him fall into that form, and then you don't want to take him away. You know,
Nope.
so
you saw the things that, like Jesse brought up Bobrovsky. Like I think that's a great example of the Flyers giving up too early on somebody. Granted, he hasn't looked good in Florida, but he looked great in Columbus. He won a couple of Vezes in Columbus.
Yeah,
you can't give up on the kid after one bad year. And too many people, I guess it's just a Negadelphian syndrome. Is what? Oh, you got to be perfect every season. Oh, bad year, you're gone. You're no good anymore. You're no good.
Get out of here. Yeah, you suck. You never did anything right.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, I know.
You good over there, Rob?
Yeah, man. I'm just thinking that, Philadelphia, all they need is a little patience. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I just heard a bunch of sounded like you were crumbling up some plastic or something.
Oh, I forgot to mute. My bad, boys. I crushed my recycling.
Oh, gotcha.
I just wanted to make sure you were good. That's all.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I apologize for not muting there, folks.
No worries.
No, it's okay. I actually thought like you had a mouse or something and it fell on the floor for a second because I just heard crack, blam, blam, blam. But anyway,
just
Joe was
check on you once in a while, brother.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, Joe was saying, for all you just tuning in, Riley Cote announces he beat the shit out of Carcelo Sestito. And he didn't say it, but he also beat up Ronaldo. Oh, my God. Yes.
Ronaldo's a little shit. I can't stand the guy.
Oh, man. Yeah. I was not a big fan of Ronaldo, even when he was playing for the Flyers. But yeah, we did hear that from Cote. We had a death match between Cote, Carcillo, and Sestito, who would walk away. And right off the bat, Cote's like, oh, yeah, I got Carcillo. He's getting so we know.
Let's arrange it. It'll be the next barbed wire death match.
Yes. The first ever A2D barbed wire death match.
Oh,
Riley Cote versus Tom Sestito
I don't know if I like the sound of that.
Well, Riles, it was, the last of the old guard. You know what I mean? And yeah, there were some tough guys that came up afterwards, but they're just cut from a different cloth, and I don't think they hold a candle in the wind to, the old guard there. But
no, I love Rigatoni though.
Oh yeah, with what Pronger was calling him. Oh my God,
I don't know.
Great.
I don't know if I should. I don't know if that gives me.
No, it does not. You will get your ass. Do it.
I should have asked him. Does that give me permission to start calling him Rigatoni? What else we got going on here? Ted says feels like Price has been around forever. Did Miller Ryan Miller is actually still playing. He's the backup in Anaheim. And Tom goes on to say true about Price. Love listening to the hockey guys, and we'll take on Carey Price. The other day, Hart is definitely the future, and he'll find his game. And he's definitely going to find his game. The organization, the coaching staff just needs to continue to give him the confidence. Keep sending him out there and keep letting him play his game. He will find it again.
Yeah, and by the way, he is bringing up a good point on the hockey guy. If you've never checked out that YouTube channel, it's absolutely worth checking out. He's hilarious, and he knows what the fuck he's talking about. But let's see here. And, with everything that's going on, I would say, yeah, I had Chris Dunn saying, just don't want Elliott going anywhere. No, and absolutely. Elliott is absolutely worth the price that we have him for. He filled in at first as the starter. Unfortunately, he had injury problems, and that led to the epic run that we had where we set that record for how many goaltenders were started in a season. But after those went away, he filled in perfectly in that backup role, and he's done such an amazing job since then. And I have nothing bad to say about Moose. He's been nothing but good for us. Nothing but good. But all of the things that we've been talking about. Jesse with the Carcillo comment. Oh my God.
He's a little ball of hatred, that guy.
Yeah. The person saying the blasphemy towards Price from Habs fans hurts my heart and soul as much as it hurts me to be happy for Hasek winning as a Redwood. Oh, I love the subtle jab at Don. That was very well done. Very well done. But, all right.
I haven't heard him in a while.
He's here. He's here.
Somebody check on him.
Can we name all 7 goalies? Ooh. All right.
From last year or a couple years ago when they set the record?
Yeah. So the year that we set that record. So let's take a stab at this. Let's take a stab at this, and then we'll have Brodo. Brodo, where are you? Damn it. There he is. Hey, Brodo, do me a favor. Look up how many goalies we started that year. We're going to do this to end the show. We're going to take a stab at it. And if we get it wrong, feel free to call us out. Obviously, we know you're going to call out Brian. But,
what year am I looking up? Sorry, I was memeing.
What was it? It
Taylor's
was
lifting over there.
It was 2 years ago. So it was 2018-19 season.
And I'm looking up the goalies for whom again?
For the Flyers, all the goalies that we started that year, because we set the record for how many goalies started that year.
All right.
All right then. So while Rye looks that up, let's give it a shot. All right. So for me, Elliott, obviously.
Hart.
We had Pickard. I believe he played some time for that. Who else was there?
Cam
Alex
Talbot.
Lyon.
Alex
Lyon. Cam Talbot. You're right.
Peter
Hart,
Mrazek.
Peter Mrazek.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mrazek. I don't even know what number we're up to now.
Was it Mike McKenna? Didn't he start a game for the Flyers that year?
McKenna had one.
Yep.
One or two.
How many we got?
6.
That's about 6, so I think we're missing one. Who's the other one? Neuwirth. I think Neuwirth was still here.
This is the 2018-2019 season, Matty.
I believe it was.
8 goalies.
Yes, sir.
All right, are you ready for me to list them?
Yes, please.
I'm going to list them from most game played all the way down to least games played.
Sure.
Number 1. All right, I'll add a little extra here. Who played the most games in that season for the Flyers?
Let's say it was Brian Elliott that year.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Neuwirth.
Pove?
To be contrarian, I'll say Peter Mrazek.
Carter Hart.
Wow.
Oh, Hart did play the most. Okay.
31.
Wow. Holy shit. Wow, that shows you. Holy shit. Let that sink in for a moment. 31 games played, and that was the most a goalie played that year for the Flyers. Jesus. Okay.
As a 20-year-old, too. You're talking 2 years ago, right? So
Yeah, he was 20. Yep, that's correct.
Ted, this is Hampus Lindholm. Plays for the Ducks.
Then at number 2, we have Brian Elliott.
Okay.
I knew he was going to be on the top.
26 games played. Then we have Anthony Stolarz with 12 games played.
Stoli, that's right. Stoli played. I forgot.
Stoli the goalie.
Then we have Calvin Pickard, or Picard.
Good call on Pickard there, Matty.
11 games played. Then we have Michael Neuwirth with 7 games played. Now, I don't believe anyone named this person. It's not Peter Mrazek. He's not on this list. But it is Cameron Talbot. Cam Talbot.
Talbot.
I got him. Okay. So, that's right. Mrazek was already on the Hurricanes.
Wow.
Forgot.
So Cam played 4 games. So you have 2 other names to still bring up.
And it wasn't Mike McKenna, wasn't one of them?
No, Mike McKenna was. He's 8th.
Oh.
He played 1 game. So there's a name, I don't know, you guys might have mentioned already, who played 2 games.
It's got to be Alex Lyon.
Yes.
Okay. So we almost got it. We missed it by 1, and it was Stoli. That's the only one we didn't name.
Shameful.
Only one.
Shameful.
Chris.
Hand in our Flyers card.
Damn. So close.
I'll
So
take the
close.
voice. Hold on in each hand. Let's go.
Oh, man.
Chris, you have a great night, brother.
Chris, you take it easy, brother. That's a good way to end the show. All right, so.
Well, did we go to announce the jersey giveaway? I
We are. We are.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. But, all right. So, all right. We got 7 out of 8. So I will get a B- performance since we're supposed to be that knowledgeable. So we'll do a B- on that one. Anyway. All right, guys. Thanks, Tom. If you were commenting in, like Prism and like Don and Chris and everybody tonight, Riley Cote's got a great giveaway that he's given out for you guys. It is a jersey that he has from Bodychek Wellness, and it is an absolutely pretty jersey. And you guys can be entered in to win that, and all you had to do was comment in on the show tonight. So we are collecting all the comment names, and we're going to throw it into the hat, and whoever we pick, you guys, whoever gets that lucky pick will walk away with that jersey. So that will be coming from Riley Cote and Bodychek Wellness, who is the show sponsor. And for those who don't know what Bodychek Wellness is a company that is using the abilities of hemp to create topicals, create gummies, create other kinds of edibles, and extracts and such like that. They even have THC-free products as well, which is the giveaway that they have on the box for 40% off while Riley is on the show. So that was available tonight. And then we do have the regular promo code of 20% off with the A2D as well for the Bodychek Wellness products. And basically what they do is they get your mind focused. They get you straight and narrowed. Rob, you were talking about it earlier with Riley about how it's gotten you with working out routine and, just keeping you focused, getting your mind straight so you can talk firsthand about how these products have helped you out,
Absolutely. I mean, the focus and clarity. I often have thought of myself as an advanced age ADD guy, and it certainly has got my focus in check. Being able to handle, multitask different hats that we all have to wear in this business, so it's really helped me out there. But what was key that Riley had highlighted today and certainly touched upon more on last time he was here is that it's just one piece of the puzzle. It has to be infused with a good diet, focusing on foods that are going to be anti-inflammatory versus inflammatory. It helps us deal with stress better, both Bodychek Wellness's products as well as the food we ingest. And then, inculcating, good exercise, whether that be just taking a walk, a little jog around the neighborhood, getting some fresh air. I started doing this program where I do 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats on Monday, and then it goes up to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then by Sunday it's 70, and then you start again on Monday at 10. Really great program that's been helping me out, but certainly all fueled by Bodychek Wellness.
Nice. Awesome stuff. So yeah, check out Bodychek Wellness. They have their website, bodychekwellness.com. Go take a look there and see what Riley's got for you guys, because it's all great stuff. And our other sponsors as well, Specialized Physical Therapy. If you have any nagging injuries of any kind and you need to get that sorted out, Specialized Physical Therapy is the way to go. Dr. Paul Vidal runs that. And also as well, if you need to make an appointment, you can visit him at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And you can go to either the Cherry Hill or the Burlington location, and you will be able to get into tip-top shape with Specialized Physical Therapy. And along with that as well, anyone who is struggling with any mental health problems or any kind of addiction issues, we have the Sunrise Detox and Counseling Center, and you can give them a call at 856-651-8117. Listen, guys, don't waste any time. If someone that that you care about, is going through a problem, or if you yourself are going through some problems and you need that help and you need that support, 856-651-8117. The Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. Do not waste time. Another issue that we have going on as well is that, unfortunately, there was a fire that hit Ocean City. And one of our sponsors did get caught up in that, and that was All Campus OC, who have done a lot for us here on the shows. And unfortunately, We don't know the extent of the damage. However, though, they do have a GoFundMe. So if you guys can contribute anything to that, please, that would be absolutely great. And, awesome. DB's here. Awesome. That's great to see, man. It's great to see that it's great to see that you're kicking, man. Awesome, man. That you kicked the shit out of COVID. Good job, brother. Good job.
Bitch.
Yeah. And of course, he did put in "Go Kings Go" into last place.
No. That's reserved for Anaheim, bro. Sorry.
Kings are playing well.
Anaheim's playing well. They just can't seem to score a damn goal. I mean, they played well. They played St. Louis pretty well for the most part. They can't figure out ways to win games. That's their biggest issue right now. They were on the BCSN last night. Even Kenny Albert and Dominic Moore were saying, like, these guys, they're playing decent hockey. They're playing enough to you could be a contender right now. They just can't seem to figure out ways to finish out these close games, to get the goals when they count the most.
Mm.
But then again, St. Louis came off a huge come from behind, so they're riding a ton of momentum right now against San Jose. So, there's that. Otherwise, last place is for Anaheim.
All right, then. And then one last sponsor that we have, none other than the place you can go if you do like listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, which we absolutely appreciate you guys for and love you guys for. But if you also like listening to the other shows on A2DRadio.com and you want to support A2D as well as this show and all the others, Bri, where can they go?
Head on over to Philly Drinkers LLC, PhillyDrinkers.com. Check out all your A2D merch there. You got all kinds of hoodies there. Especially the A2D Nike hoodies, they seem to be going fast. Yep, you got all kinds of T-shirts. Bad things only happen in Philly. Thank you, President Trump, for that great piece of merchandise. Show shirts, show mugs, show. I don't know where all you guys are, but up here in Jersey, it's a little cold out, so we got all kinds of skull caps and stuff like that. Show specific as well, so support your favorite show. Just support A2D in general. Head on over to Philly LLC, Philly Drinkers LLC, PhillyDrinkers.com. Get all your A2D merch.
Awesome. So we thank you all for tuning in, and we will announce the winner for the jersey, and we will see who will be walking away with that Bodychek Wellness jersey there. So stay tuned. No, don't worry, Chad. It will not be. Don't worry, fam. It won't be Brian. Anyway.
If you're just joining us for the first time, hit that like, subscribe. Turn on all your notifications. Don't miss anything A2D has to offer as far as content. Great content moving forward. Shows every night. We're the only media platform that has shows every single night, live and in podcast form. So check that out.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us. For all of us here, I'm Matt Sassuti, along with the Darkwing Brian Daly and the Broken One himself, Mr. Rob Povia.
Appreciate all the love, fam. Thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, we love you all. And listen, if you're out and about, if you're going into a store or a restaurant, yes, the vaccine is available to some, and some people have gotten vaccinated. But even if you have gotten your second jab, please still wear your mask. I know we're getting towards the tail end of this thing, but you still got to do it. Wear your mask. Just for common courtesy, just for the other person that may not be vaccinated. So wear your mask indoors when you're in a restaurant or a store. Until then, though, guys, peace and love. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll be talking about some more Flyers victories going forward. We'll see you guys. Peace, everyone.